Hello YouTube! Welcome to another tip and trick video for your axe. Recently I uploaded a video where I showed you how to transform a cheap $8 hardware store hatchet into such a wonderful carving axe in Viking style. The most important modification step was for sure the regrind of the edge. In this video I show you the outstanding rack trick. With just the rack and the file you will be able to transfer the steep splitting edge geometry into a wonderful, slightly convex and super sharp carving axe geometry. And I explain you why I have much more uses for an axe in this style than in this style. Stay tuned. In the next few minutes I will explain you my uses for an axe during my bushcraft and camping trips, and this should explain you why I prefer this sharp cutting edge geometry for my carving axe over the geometry on this axe. I need an axe which I am able to work out the rough shape of a spoon, of a fork, of a wooden knife, of a coxswain, or of another kind of pole out of a branch or a trunk. I often have to remove side branches, for example on this dry spruce trunk, that I get a straight proper pole for constructions. Often you have to make points of the end of a pole or of a stick. I want to be able to make feather sticks with my axe. I want to be able to flatten a splitted surface like this. I want to be able to make tampons or whatever. And yes, of course, often you have to split firewood with an axe. And here you are in a little disadvantage with the flat convex, because sometimes it happens that the axe stuck into the wood instead of splitting it. But hey, take a wooden wedge, rescue your axe and split the rest with the wedge. And now I want to show you the rack trick. So what you need is a vise or something else to clamp the axe. You need a rug or another piece of fabric. You need a file with a flat side. You need a grinding stone. I have the CC4 and something for polish. I have a little leather strap here. So first you have to clamp the axe in vise. I do it on these shoulders here, like this, and I do it with a counter piece. So like this, the axe holds perfect here. Now I make some marks with a permanent marker. This is just for a better visual control in which area you are grinding. Now take the rug and fold it once, that you get 2 layers, and put it on the highest point of the axe. That's here where the eye is. This is the pivot point of the file. So put the rug on this, and here is the pivot point of the file. Now make a move like this. So you can sharpen an axe head with a file because the hardness gap between a file and an axe head is big enough. A normal file, a good professional file, has a hardness about 65 Rockwell. An axe head, this one has probably 53 Rockwell, something like this. And the axe head from Grand Force has a hardness about 57 Rockwell, I guess. Okay, now I have a continuous flat from here to here. That's why I take the rack and fold it again. Now I have 4 layers. Place it again on the highest point, the pivot point here. Put the file on it, hold it with your palm and file again. Now the file is a little bit steeper. So if you think this is enough, fold the rack again. Now you have 8 layers. So there's for sure nothing wrong if you wear gloves for this task, because the file is rubbing here on the palm, and if you wear gloves you minimize the risk that you hurt yourself on the edge here. So if you are finished with 8 layers, fold the rug again. Now you have 16 layers. And as you can see, the file gets steeper and steeper and steeper. So the last step is 32 layers. If you can feel a burr all the way from here to here, you can stop to file. Now the first side is done. We have something like 5 flats with 2 layers, with 4 layers, with 8 layers, with 16 layers, and with 32 layers. And that makes a wonderful convex. Before we start with the second side, I want to try to measure with how many degrees we filed at the very end of the edge with 32 layers. This is not that important, but this gives us a feeling in which range of degrees we are working. So for that I have an app on my cell phone where I can measure the angles. So now I set it on 0 and then I set it here. So yes, this is about 12 degrees. So 6 degrees on each side. And now I put it here, set it on 0, 0, 0, like this. Take the rack, 42 layers, and measure again. So this is about, yes, 15 degrees. Plus 6 degrees from the angle of the cheeks. This makes 21 degrees on each side. And don't forget, if the second side is done, we have to round up these 5 flats to each other with a grinding stone. And this makes the very end again a bit steeper. So at the end we have an angle between 45 and 50 degrees, I guess, something like this. As I said, this is not that important, but just that you get a feeling in which range we are moving. Now both sides are done with the file work. Now we have 5 flats. We have to round up to each other that we get a nice convex. And for that I like to use my CC4 from Felix, but you can also take a normal grinding stone with a rough side, with a fine side. That works perfect. So my friends, the last hour I spent it with grinding out some scratches and grooves from the file work. For that I took my grinding stone and I want to make a wonderful edge just with manual work without meshing, and that's also the reason why I polish by hand. Next step is to polish the edge. On my polish machine this would be done in a minute, but I want to do it with the leather strop. Only manual work. Look at this beauty, 100% handmade convex edge. So I like the rock trick very much. This is not the fastest way to regrind an axe, but it's very controlled and it's 100% manually. And you put so much patience and love and time into this machine-made axe head that you give them back a soul. And I tell you, this is my third axe I modify. This is the first, and this is my second one. And I like them more than my grandfathers. That's it for today. Please let me know if you want to see more axe modification videos on my YouTube channel. I hope you liked this little trick today. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and see you next Friday again. Ciao!